head coach, started another year here at Ole Miss,
Yeah.
women's basketball. Where's this team at as compared to teams past? How close are you to where you want to be for the start of the season?
You know, I think that this team's a lot farther along than our teams in the past because of our experience that we have returning. But at the same time, we still have a very talented group of newcomers that we're trying to adjust in, so we can't get too far ahead of ourselves from time to time. But you know, I like where we're at. I like our experience at the guard position. I like our experience at the post position, and then you plug in some newcomers with them. I just think that our team's a lot farther along we have been in the past, and that's exciting. But at the same time, you know, we can't get too far ahead of ourselves, and we got to still take it. It's a process. Still got to take it day by day, and you know, you're gonna have some ups and downs, and we've had some ups and downs this preseason, but a lot more ups than we have downs, so that's good.
So let's start with those returning players. The team was young last year, and they all got really valuable minutes across the season and SEC play. So that's got to be exciting for you, knowing you've got players out there that won't be thrown into situations they haven't seen before.
Yeah, we returned two of the best offensive players on the perimeter in our league, and Medina Muhammad and Sandrika Sessom. They have proven night in and night out that they can compete at a high level against great competition. And so, you know, having those two young ladies out there on the perimeter, and then you throw in Alyssa Alston, you throw in Tori Lewis and players like that bring experience, and then you start talking about some newcomers with China Nixon and Barbara Johnson that bring great athleticism, great explosiveness, and you know, just real excited about those experienced players. And then inside we have some unknowns. Shelby brings some experience back on the inside, but you have CC in there that hasn't played a lot but has looked really good throughout the preseason. Promise Taylor will start for us from day one. She's a 6'6" freshman post player that I'm excited about, and she's earned that starting spot, and so I'm looking forward to watching her start tomorrow night in our first exhibition game, and seeing the great things that she can do. And then you look at our forwards, a lot of inexperience there with Kate Rogers and Bree Glover and Denisha Banks, but all three of those players are extremely talented, and so I'm excited about what all three of them can do as the season goes on. But you know, we're excited about where we're at.
I think it's really exciting to look at your roster and you bring up the new players on your team.
Yeah.
Washington, Philadelphia, New York. The Ole Miss brand is really almost across the country as you're recruiting these players now. And that's got to be cool too.
Exactly. It's different when you go recruiting. When I call a player on the phone now and a prospective student athlete, you call them up, a high school lady, and you talk to them, and you say, it used to be, hey, you even know where Ole Miss is at? Have you ever heard of Ole Miss? Now they know. When you call them and say, hey, look, I'm the head coach at Ole Miss. Oh, yeah, coach, I know. I watched your football team. I've seen your baseball team. I watched you guys beat Tennessee last year. I watched you beat Texas A&M. You know, so you're starting to hear that now. I don't have to explain where Ole Miss is at on the map anymore. And they know where we're at, and they're going to continue to know. Our program, when we took over 5 years ago, we were, you know, obviously down because of a lot of different situations that were going on. But at 5 years later, we feel like we have a roster now that can compete at the top of this league. We're excited about this roster. We're going to have some ups and downs this season, but I see a lot more ups than I do down. And as our objective is for our team this year, and as they've set their goals, is to be back in the NCAA tournament. And I think that's something that we can do. I don't think that's something far-fetched for them. I think we can be in the NCAA tournament. We got to continue to improve, but each day is going to be important for us to improve.
I think you hit on I was going to ask you what the goals are for this team, but you kind of laid it out plain and simple. So what's it going to take to get off to a hot start? What's it going to take for this team improving throughout the year to reach those goals?
You know, I think we've challenged them in November. Our problem last year was we were really good at home. We struggled on the road. How do you fix that? You put yourself in situations early in the season where you're on the road in tough environments. Going on the road and playing against Temple, going on the road and playing against DePaul, St. Louis, going on the road and playing against Oregon, which is a preseason top 10 team in the country. That's going to put us in tough situations early on. You know, you can't worry about you know, from time to time, if you go on those road games and you don't play well and you get beat or whatever, you got to learn from that. But I feel very confident that we're going to win a lot of basketball games, especially early in the year. I feel very confident we put a schedule together that when we hit conference play, we'll be a top 25 RPI type team. And then once you get in league, that's just going to grow. And we're excited about our schedule. We know we're playing a tough schedule. We understand that why we're playing that. Our players understand that. They've set their goals to be in the NCAA tournament. So if that's what you want to do, then we got to go and play people. And our non-conference schedule will show that. And then you get some home games against a Middle Tennessee State, which is as good as a lot of teams that will play in our league. I mean, there's a lot of teams in our league that don't want to play them, and we're going to play them. And that'll be a tough game in here in November. So it's exciting about where we're at, and we just got to continue to improve.